It's been a little while since I've covered a mini disc. One of the units that's really quite impressive that I really want to talk about and do a review of later on is this, the MZ-EH70. I believe this is a second generation high mini disc player only unit. And I have two of them here, one in pink and one in silver. The silver one came in yesterday or the day before, and it was advertised as working, except for the fact that somehow the battery contacts didn't work very well. However, I found that there's a couple other problems. The company that sold this obviously didn't check it. Like most recent units, the MZ-EH70 is of course a one-touch unit, meaning that when you put in the disc and then pop it out again, it bumps out like that. Here, let's look at it from the side. Pull the eject button and it pops out. That's because there's a little spring in there that basically latches closed when you push the disc in. Watch this. It doesn't go all the way in until you push it in there. And then it forces some sort of pin into a locked position and pulls back a lever or some sort of spring. When you close it, then that lever is undone so that when you open the eject button, it just pops right out. Now, the unit that is supposed to be a working unit here that I got, watch this. The disc just falls right in, meaning that the latch or the spring is somehow broken. Also, it doesn't properly close. In fact, it's almost like something's broken in here that's popping the unit back open, allowing it, well, not allowing it to close. So I don't know what's actually going on here, but it doesn't properly close, in fact. And at this point, you can see that the hook here that locks the door together is not working. And when you open it, it doesn't pop out, which means that the one-touch eject mechanism or the spring or something is broken. Another thing with this unit, check this out. It came missing 2 screws. There's supposed to be screws here and here. Now what's interesting is that the reviews for the company that sent this are very, very good. And when I approached the company about the problem, they, well, how can I say this? Were very rude about it. There's a point at which if you're going to say no claim, no return, you have to make sure that you mention all the problems with the unit. All the problems with this unit that they mentioned were the fact that the battery contact, evidently, isn't properly, well, it might be corroded, so that you can't use a battery in here and then walk around. They said that as long as you plug it into the AC adapter, then it will work, and that's it. That's the only problem that they mentioned. They didn't mention that there's no screws here. They didn't mention that the thing doesn't even close properly, as you can tell. They didn't mention that not only is the lock mechanism for the disc broken, but also that the one-touch eject unit is broken. This sort of thing happens, not very often with Yahoo auction, but it happens often enough that I want you guys to be careful. Now, if you're buying from abroad, likely you're buying through some sort of third party that will take care of all that problems. But if you're buying directly, Yahoo auction not only has no protections for the buyer or the seller really, they take 10% still, and then you get a unit like this. And then what you're supposed to do, if you're going to file a claim, you just claim directly with the people that sold it. And then they, if they're a good and reliable company or person, then they will go, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, and then they will refund your money. If they're not, they'll put up a fuss, and that's what this company have done. Now, depending on what happens, if I am able to get back my money, then I will not publish their name and I will not try to shame them. But if they pretend like they're the injured party here, then I'm going to do my best to make sure that you know never to purchase from this company. But before I do that, before I sign off, I just want to say that if you find a working unit of the MZ-EH70 or the 50, they are about as good sounding units as I've ever heard. Low hiss, decent amplifiers that get loud, good stereo separation, and very good dynamics. So if you're looking for a high MD player, and there are many benefits of them, including the fact that you get like 200 or almost 200 seconds of shock memory versus 40, or so, I'm sorry, 160 seconds of shock memory versus 40. And because in that time frame, it's all basically quiet. There's no sound that these things make. They're great for bedside units, etc. They're not going to annoy people in the same rooms much. Very well recommended. So if you're looking for a unit, this MZ-EH70 or the 50. Of course, as I've seen it, most of these units seem to be in bad repair. Not this bad, but yeah. Anyway, see you guys later.